Everybody, and welcome to another edition of the original Free Kick. On this episode, we're going to preview the upcoming matchup for Atlanta United against Charlotte, including the pressers of manager Rob Valentino and defender Stian Gregersen. Before we get to that, as always, to follow everything that we do, go to the mothership, the sportsinquirer.net, the premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on X, Instagram, and Facebook, and just look us up on there under Emar Substitute or the Sports Inquirer, and you'll see us on there. And finally, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our audio and video hosts, which include YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and more. As I mentioned, LA United is going to be facing Charlotte in MLS play on August 31st, and we were able to attend the press conferences of several entities from Atlanta United, starting with defender Stian Gregersen. Let's get to Stian and play that, and we'll have our thoughts after that. So let's go ahead and get him on. Enjoy.
One of the better defenses in Major League Soccer. From what you've seen of Alexi in the past couple of games in the training sessions, how is he going to help y'all unlock that defense and score more goals?
Yeah, he have been good. He have increased the level at the training, and he's a very good guy also. So he gonna help us a lot, and hopefully he gonna be the box opener for us. So yeah, we have seen a lot of videos of them, and where we're gonna punish them, and I think this gonna suit Alexi very well.
Okay. When you think back on that first Charlotte game, y'all had a 1-0 lead, and then things kind of broke. What went wrong in that first match, and how do y'all avoid doing that in this match?
What went wrong? No, we lost, of course. But yeah, we had a new formation with 5. We played with 5. Mm-hmm. We haven't played so much of this formation, and it was more ping pong football instead of having control. And yeah, they do it for them advance that it's going to be a ping pong, and they beat us with it.
Gotcha.
In those moments where the game kind of turns into ping pong, how do you and the back line try to change that and settle it?
No, to be more compact and have the balance is the main thing to stop this ping pong football, is to have the balance. So it's important that we have one fullback inside, or the number 6 is staying with us, so it's not man-man for me and Derek.
Dealing with a forward potentially like Ajiman, a big, strong, fast forward who just loves to run in behind, how do you and Derek handle that? Do you trade off? Do you take him more? Do you communicate when those moments happen?
Yeah, of course we need to be tight with him, and someone just need to cover back, and all the time we have to do that, and of course especially with this guy.
Going back to ping pong football, is that something you experienced at all in France, or was it more about possession and control?
No, in France we have a lot of that. The striker and the winger is very technical, and they go fast like that. But in MLS also is a lot of this ping pong football. So yeah, but like you said, have seen us also. You see, and we are more compact, and we have more control of the game. But we need to maybe progress to have a more ball. Our ball position haven't been so good, but to the end it's football is to score goals. So, but yeah, like last game, it can be a little ugly because we lost 2-0 and we don't have possession. But for me, the first half we could lead 1 or 2-0. So yeah.
Is there anything that jumped out to you that changed in the second half against the Galaxy?
No, what can I say? They have a lot of ball, maybe it's we need to what can I say, to move our feet more, and of course it's when the Dex is going out, we lost a little bit balance of that. But yeah, they are more clinical to score goals than us. That was the difference for me.
This is the first week in a long time. There was no international break, no midweek match. You've had a full week of training. How do you think that's impacted just the preparations for this Charlotte matchup?
Yeah, it's been good for us. We have worked hard, seen a lot of video of them. It's just 8 games left now, but we need to have focus on one game at a time. Yeah, our ambition is of course to reach the playoff. The season is all about that. And now we are in qualification to playoffs, so yeah, we need to look forward and living in the moment.
You literally mentioned how many matches and your positioning. As a team, do you talk about that, or do you try to just approach it match by match? How do you balance that out, looking at standings and?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, we have to focus on the match, but of course we need to look at the standing also, especially in the end, because we're gonna meet the team around us, so it's gonna be our big matches, and especially in the last game we're gonna meet Orlando. But now we need to have focus in living in the moment, and now we will have Charlotte. So and Charlotte also is gonna be an important game.
All right, we're back. That was Stian Gregersen talking about the team and where they are. And yes, they have less than 10 regular season matchups in the MLS the regular season, and they are technically in the last 2 spots of the playoffs in that play-in game in the Eastern Conference to advance to the knockout stage. Well, I guess it's the play-in and it's already the knockout stage. You get what I'm saying? Yes, so that's a very interesting time for the United. Let's get to Rob Valentino, interim manager for Atlanta, as the team continues its preparations for their match at Charlotte.
After the Galaxy game, and John D talked about the need to be more clinical in front of goal. What kind of things were y'all working on this week to try to improve that?
I mean, even today we just did like a attack versus defense exercise where you're attacking at real pace with real numbers kind of in front of them. We talked about we talked and looked at video of how we can finalize chances or create a better chance or look for a better decision with a pass. Don't want to take opportunity away from guys and say that you have to make this pass or that pass, because decisions change and moments change in the game and players move. So just making sure that they understand whoever's got the best option, you give them the ball to have the shot, or you have to be really clinical in how you execute your final shot, whether it's technique or whether it's the angle of approach or whether it's a dribble or a pass or way you combine. So just different ways that we can continue to layer on what we've already been doing and creating the chance, but just finalizing it.
I know that, scoring is always important, but when you're facing a team like Charlotte that has a really, really good defense, it's, I assume, more about taking advantage of the few chances you're likely going to have.
Yeah, I hope that we can still create a high number, or it's more really about quality of chance, really. Number would be great, but if you're creating average chances, it doesn't really matter. It's more about the high quality chances that we create. Yeah, they're a great defensive team. They're a good team in general. Really well organized, very disciplined. So, and I think every component poses something different. This game will pose something a little bit different than the Galaxy. Shapes are very similar in terms of the way they defend, but the personnel and the way they defend is maybe a little bit more stout. So yeah, it'll be difficult, but that's the challenge that we have to go and face up against and create a better chance and high volume as well.
And what makes that? How does their defense work? What makes it so effective?
They work. Every single player works. They give little space away between lines. They're aggressive when they have to be aggressive to step out. Just very disciplined. Like the way I think of it when I watch the team, they're really disciplined, really organized. Everybody works back. You see when they do get broken or a team switches and they get in the final third, they've got sometimes 9 or 10 guys in and around their box. So that's really difficult to break down, and that's credit to the work that they've done and Dean Smith as he's taken a new route.
Jay and Derek talked a lot on Tuesday about how the team played really well up until the 60th minute, and then things kind of fell apart. What needs to be done in order to keep that momentum going forward to the whole game against Charlotte?
Yeah, they're different games, so the way we approach that game and the way we approach it is always the same. But in terms of wanting to win the game, the outcome, right? But we knew that there would be long stretches where we would have to defend deeper or whatever it might be, and there would be more opportunities on the counterattack. This game might be a little bit different. So I think that like the moments in the game as we were kind of in the 60 to 75 range when we were really defending deep, like we needed to, I don't know, maybe change something up on my end or how we were asking them to defend or maybe substitutions, things like that. But yeah, it's a concentration thing, execution of whether it's connecting passes or being a little bit more strong defensively in certain moments.
You mentioned Charlotte defending kind of deep, and they're comfortable doing that. How do you deal with the potential transitions from them when they do get the ball and get forward with pace?
Yeah, we talked about it today about how we attack. We talk about that a lot as well when we do attack, like how we are protecting ourselves for any team that counters. I think this league is a very transitional league in general, so most teams have attackers that can hurt you on the break. So we have to think about how we go and attack and not just be all-out attack and only have two guys back there at times. And I don't think they always defend so deep too. Like they can keep a higher line as well. So like they're just an organized, very disciplined team in general. Higher up the field, lower, wherever.
You got Alexi for 30 minutes on Saturday, and you've had another week with him. You know, how has he kind of embedded himself into the group, and do you think he's more fit than he was last week?
Yeah, he's really integrated well with his teammates. I think this week has been really good for the group in general. You know, we looked at the film more on the especially on the attacking side of how we could be better on the ball and find more passes or just find more areas to attack, whether it's this creating the space or actually staying in buckets of space, and he will help with that. He integrated well with his teammates, and then it's about integrating him onto the field. His fitness level is good. It's just getting him the game fitness or game orientation and getting him used to his teammates and not used to his teammates because it's not about like getting used to them. It's more like just integrating with other players around him, and like he's not been involved in this group for a good stretch of time and been on his own doing fitness work. So his base fitness is good. It's just how quickly we can get him up to that soccer game pace.
Will he likely start?
We'll see. You'd like to know, wouldn't you?
I would.
Yeah, we'll see. Like we want to look. It's an urgent moment. We want to have him available, like all the players to be available to be able to start or maximum minutes. But we've had today to train. As we get closer, today we'll have a big discussion about how we can get him safely in the right areas and also the maximum amount of minutes.
I assume it's only Ronald that's out for Saturday. I think everybody else was out there.
Yeah, I mean he's TBD. Today he trained with the group pretty much full on, so we'll see his availability now.
And Tristan's hip. I've seen him training Tuesday and Thursday. How is that?
Yeah, he's a little bit day to day. Yeah, it's a strange one. They were going back of what actually happened, and then he was training and just kind of managing the pain, and then it just got to a different level. But yeah, I would say he's more day to day probably.
Was that a incidental injury or was it just a fatigue thing?
No, it was a contact thing.
Contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
You mentioned urgency, and we talked to Stian. You looked at the playoff picture, limited amount of games left. Just how has the team approaching this portion of the year as you really want to, as you approach that playoff spot?
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it as we were going into these. We talked about there was 9 games at the time, and we talked about the 9 games are guaranteed. We have the rest of that season, right? And after that, we hope we have more, and that's the goal, to have more after that. So that 1 game's gone. Now we've got 8 left, and then we approach every game as it comes. And yeah, there's urgency to. We don't talk about outcome a lot, but the outcome's important because in my head, like the outcome doesn't change. We want to win every single game, and that's the approach we go with, and that's the mentality that we go with. It doesn't always happen, and I understand that's the way it works. That's the way life works. But we will go with that same urgency that we have had. Now we just know that hey, it's coming closer. So we have to take the moments, whether it's in the game or just bigger moments as the season kind of closes down, to make sure we are above the playoff line in the highest position possible.
Are y'all going to be taking some days off next week?
Yeah, some, but not anything crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you guys balance the urgency and good intensity that comes from that with knowing that there's 8 games left and not letting that turn to panic in moments?
Yeah, that's the real challenge. Is that I always try to give them that sense of not ease is the right word. I don't know what the right word is, but there should always be urgency when you play. Like whether it's the first game or the last game of the season, there should be an urgency in it because it should matter. Every game, every point matters. And if you look at as the season's gone, if you start to add up points you lost or points you gained and where you gained them, they all add up at the end. They matter. So it's making sure that you don't go over the top and do something stupid or emotionally stupid to where you put yourself at risk or make a bad moment in the game, bad decisions from myself or even them. You have to stay even keel. It's that old saying of like, don't let the highs get too high and the lows too low. So we try to stay as even keel as we can and know that the urgency it should be always there.
You see the guys like Brad and Dax and Derek who have been around this league and been in these kind of spots before. Do you see them as maybe a little extra important at times when you're in these moments?
Yeah, they're always important. These moments, first game moments, preseason moments, like those guys, like the experience they have, they can touch on things that the other guys can't. They've been in these situations. They've sometimes good situations, sometimes bad situations. They've seen kind of everything. So that's like the great thing about having veterans on your team that have those different experiences, whether it's different leagues or different tournaments, all those things. So yeah, that doesn't change in terms of where we are in the season. It definitely helps. It doesn't hurt, I'll tell you that.
Jay's been doing really well this season for you guys, especially in that last match against LA Galaxy. What has it been like to watch him improve over this season as a whole and seeing him really break through and being a star in the league?
Yeah, you guys have asked a lot about him this year, and this is good. He's earned that. He's had to earn everything. He's a young player that's breaking himself into regular first team minutes. So the challenge for him is to keep progressing and stay as consistent as possible and really challenge the rest of. We talked about it with those midfielders, the four of them at the time, that there was like challenging each other, and he's challenged them in good ways, and he's youthful and he's got energy and he's got some banter in him a little bit with some of the older guys, but like he's challenging in the right way. He's pushing and then he's supportive as well of his other teammates. So he's done a great job. The challenge is now that he stays consistent and keeps going.
Last one for me. Y'all have the largest discrepancy between goals scored and expected goals in Major League Soccer. Mm-hmm. Are you a believer in probabilities and that is going to swing back in these last 8 games? Or are you a believer in we are what we are?
I don't know. Somewhere in between. I think that if I went off probabilities, and this is where you see it when you watch the games and broadcast, probabilities we'd be, I won't use that word, but we'd be out. Like we lost every game because all the probabilities say you're never going to win. You look at the Columbus game where you're down 1-0, probabilities of winning were like 13%. Well, we won the game, so the probabilities mean nothing.
Right.
Like we made it, we won the game. So I'm in between because there's probabilities, but I think that at some point, if we believe in what we're doing and we actually can execute on that final part, and that'll catch up. Now the time to catch up to it is getting shorter. When we look at like in the time period that we've had with the team since June, I think it was like saw some stat. It was like number 1 in passes inside the box, but the passes mean nothing because we're not finishing the ball. So like expected goals, they don't mean anything to me because the goals don't go in.
Right.
So it's like what I've said about the possession. I want the possession to be with I want it to be with intent, that we're doing something with it to score goals. So ultimately, the end product is about scoring the goals. I think that it's great that we have a high expected goals, and now it's like continuing to stress about the importance of finalizing them. I don't have a magic pill for that, but I feel like the work we are doing is correct, and the belief is there. So that should match up.
And I'm sorry, this will be the last one for me. Is there any likelihood that y'all are going to sign a free agent striker or winger to come in and bolster the squad?
That would be a question for Carlos and Garth. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know if they'd spoken with you about it.
No, they've talked about adding possibilities. So right now, like I've said to you guys before, like I'm worried about the guys I got with me right now, and then go from there if somebody else can.
All right, and that was Rob Valentino, for interim manager for Atlanta United, as the team prepares to go to Charlotte on August 31st. As I mentioned earlier, a very crucial contest, only a handful of matches left in the regular season. Atlanta's technically in the playoff position, but it's a very tenuous spot, so we'll see what happens there in the contest. As always, to follow everything that we do, go to the mothership, to sportsinquirer.net. Premier site for news and notes in the world of sports. You can also go to our social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. No, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Twitter/X. You can go to Instagram too. Please go to YouTube also. But as far as the social media, those are the platforms to go to. Just search for us on My name is Marcel Pursuit with the Sports Inquirer. And then finally, go to our audio and video host, like, subscribe, and share. And that includes YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and many more. Thank you for watching or listening to this latest edition of the Original Free Kick. Until next time, good fight, good night, and be safe.